Hello, everybody. I'm joined with my father for another movie review. Say hi, Dad.
Hello.
Today we're talking about Forrest Gump. Life is a box of chocolates, ain't it, Dad?
That's right.
What do you think of Forrest Gump?
Well, I really like this movie, and more than like it, I really love the movie.
Me too. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, and I don't know why people have recently criticized it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been a winner for the Academy Award.
Oh, no, it deserved the Oscars just by the performance, the story, and like the message of like the historical events that like Forrest Gump happens in his lifetime, and also the baby boomers. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And it also was an early example of computer graphic.
True.
images.
Well, before that there was Jurassic Park and Terminator 2, but this still is another good example how they use CGI done the right way, like Lieutenant Dan's legs, and I remember as a kid watching, like, how are they doing that with his legs? And before I understood what the term CGI meant at that time when I first, and also when he, when they put Forrest Gump in, meeting President Kennedy, Johnson, or the, George Wallace at the school, when they first let African Americans in college at the time, and
right.
Yeah. It's done very well. I will admit, the CGI, it's hit or miss. It holds up, and sometimes it doesn't hold. Like the part when Forrest Gump gets the Medal of Honor after his service in Vietnam, the Lyndon Johnson voice doesn't hold up that well.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the weaker
CGI moments.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But Tom Hanks gives a great performance.
Oh yeah, this is probably one of my top favorite films he's done. Like right up there with Road to Perdition and Toy Story, Philadelphia. The list goes on. This guy's made a lot of great films. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, Tom Hanks. Even a great actor can have his hit or misses. Like with You Got Mail is probably the one film I didn't like of his, but that's a different story. Yeah, Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks is Forrest Gump. He is this character. I can't imagine any other actor other than him in the role. Actually, believe it or not, John Travolta was off for Forrest Gump, but he turned it down saying that was a big regret. But at the same time, again, no disrespect to John Travolta, not really the first person that comes to mind when I think of playing Forrest Gump.
No. He made it his own. Yeah.
The other thing I like about the character too, it just shows despite he has a low IQ, but he's a lot smarter than he realizes.
Right.
Despite like I said, low IQ, but he did a lot of accomplished. He basically lived the American dream.
He did.
He went to college, Vietnam veteran, ping pong champion, bubblegum shrimp.
Yeah, he had a lot of breaks along the way, but still,
true.
He took advantage of them.
Oh yeah, no, he did. It didn't stop him from. Like his mother said, having the same opportunities as everybody else in life.
Yep, and he was a man of his word.
Yeah.
Like he gave 50% of what he earned
from bubblegum shrimp to Bubba's family.
To Bubba's family.
Yeah.
Which something he did not have to do that.
No, well, it just shows that he was a good-natured man, and
right.
Despite living at that time period, Forrest Gump was not a racist. He treated everyone with respect no matter what.
Right.
That's what makes him a lovable character. Right. And also, Lieutenant Dan, despite Lieutenant Dan's, accent, the legs of being, disabled, but, the part when he's, saying, do you know what it's like to not use your legs? And Forrest says, that Forrest Gump was not being stupid. He wasn't being insolent. He really does know what that's like because he was not born. He had the braces when we're first seeing the flashback of Forrest Gump when he was a little boy.
Right.
Yeah. But in a way, despite that, Lieutenant Dan, it took him a while to, come to his senses, and how that, I like the part, after when they become a big hit with the shrimp business, he said, I never thanked you for saving your life.
Yes.
He basically realized that maybe there was a good reason why Forrest saved my life. Yeah. Then he, jumps in the ocean, he swims, he goes, not like Forrest Gump said, not only did they make peace, he made his peace with God.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also noted that the Vietnam sequence is considered to be one of the most realistic depiction of what war was like.
I could see that. Even though despite there's other Vietnam films that...
Right, even though it's only a brief sequence, but when they get attacked and it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And they don't know where the bullets are coming from and where to go and what to do.
Well, it's another
They said it was that's very a realistic depiction of
it's another example. Everything happens so fast, your mind is racing. Right. You don't know what you're just doing the best you can to protect your units and survive. And remember when we were watching the film, when they were before the attack, you know, they're walking all over Vietnam, and he said that we were waiting for someone named Charlie. I'm like, wait, what does that mean? Because I'm not a military man. I don't understand, like, you know, military terms of what they meant by that. But like you said, that was the
enemy.
The enemy, yeah. Which,
well, it's a very, very entertaining movie.
oh yeah, it has, like, you know, moments of like drama and it
very,
mixes,
very funny.
Yeah, very funny.
Funny areas in that movie.
Like when he goes to meet President Kennedy when he's on the All-American team, drank so many Dr. Peppers, shaking John F. Kennedy's hand, asking, like, how does it feel to be an All-American? And his response, I gotta pee. Or like when he starts the fishing business, Lieutenant Dan comes along. He doesn't, like, put the boat to the side. He, like, jumps up.
Right. But it's definitely something that is worth seeing if you've never seen it before, and it is definitely something that requires multiple viewing, just for enjoyment.
Right. But well, like whenever we were watching the film, like even though I knew some of these like events and reading about in history classes, but the one that I sort of heard about, I didn't know too much about the whole what do they call the Alabama, like when they went the African American, what do they call that event in history?
Well, it was when they were integrating.
Integrate, yeah.
Yeah, the schools.
Yeah. That's I have very little knowledge about it, but when they showed George Wallace, I'm thinking about how well, not to get political right here, how that was relevant. What happened recently with Donald Trump getting shot, because at the time he said he was running for president, but he was assassinated, and that like prevented him from not running for office at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That, you know, you think to yourself that scene aged very well when you think of that event aged and it was relatable what happened recently. Yeah. And also we have to talk about Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Robin Wright penning this film as Jenny?
Oh, I think she was perfect for the role.
Oh, she was. You know, she's a broken down character because she came from an abusive father and she was raised by her grandmother, but you know, she had her ups and downs and was fighting her own demons from, you know, her past haunted her a lot.
Yep, but Forrest sticks with her.
Right, oh yeah. Like you said, you're my girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, even though the part when the guy slapped her, but that's still no excuse for what, you know, how he was feeling about the Vietnam War at the time. And yeah, every time I watch this, I'm like, yeah, slap him, Forrest. Yeah. And you know, like she keeps coming back in his life, all like on and off throughout the entire film, and and you know, like what for like a lot of ton of fan theories, like how did she? Well, this is a spoiler right here. You haven't seen the film. Stop the video right here. She dies after like a short, brief marriage, and people said it was AIDS, which that was probably like no like secret right there, no like it didn't have to, it was common sense right there. She passed away from AIDS because of the drugs that she did. She probably had a lot of unprotected sex with a lot of random men she didn't know. Yeah, you know, it goes from, like I said, it goes from post World War II up until like the 80s of the AIDS epidemic at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and of course there's a Watergate reference when Forrest Gump was staying at a hotel and he spotted the water people who were stealing like the Democrat who broke into the Democratic like party of like looking for files and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, Tom Hanks played the guy in Watergate in The Post with Steven Spielberg a few years later.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that in a long time. It was a good film, but it's been a while since I've seen that film. Also, like when you mentioned the Vietnam scene, like the scene when his friend Bubba died, that is like a really empowering and sad scene, how like he lost his best friend.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it, I'm like, no, Bubba, I want a friend named Bubba who could teach me about shrimp. Yeah. And also, what do you think of Sally Fields in this film as his mother?
Well, she's always excellent.
Yeah, I like Sally Fields.
She was very good.
Yeah.
And you know, she was dedicated to her son and making sure that he lived the best life that he could.
Right.
And making sure that he had good self-esteem.
Right. Oh no, he did. He did. His mother's lessons built his self-esteem and especially how here's an important lesson that besides the box of chocolates, the part when he's running away, well not running away, where he's like running, it's like what his mom said, like, you know, trying to run off, like, forget the past, and it's true they say going for a run is good for you, clear your head up. But I'm not running for 3 years, and that's and I'm not running into random people who are giving ideas for a bumper stick. You just stepped in a pile of dogs. It happens. Shit happens sometime. Have a nice day. And speaking of funny, it was also funny when oh man, what did I think? What else was? Man, it just went away in my head about. Oh yeah, like when he's like running when he stops and decides to go home. They're like, now we're supposed to. My answer to them is keep running, keep running. That's the answer. Yeah, just, you know, I love this film. This is a film I never get tired of, like, rewatching, no matter what. It's a nice feel-good film. You know, kind of like a Frank Capra film. It's, well, you know, it's not Frank Capra, but it has that Frank Capra feel with feel-good film.
Right, it does.
Positivity and never giving up faith and hope in life, no matter how crazy life can be sometimes. Yeah. Anything else that comes to mind you want to touch upon with it?
Well, I think people have spoken against it because it won over Pulp Fiction,
right?
Which is
I do love Pulp Fiction, but honestly, this movie deserved it.
It is a great film.
Yes,
you know, without a doubt, a completely different type of film, but it is a great film. But you know, it's Forrest Gump is more of a traditional story. You know, more of a popular type of film. Yeah. Whereas, you know, Pulp Fiction,
which I do love, great film in its own way.
And I do too. Quentin Tarantino is excellent.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic filmmaker.
Right. But between this, I'm kind of glad Forrest Gump, we kind of deserved it because of how great of a film it is. And I also love the opening scene when, you know, we see Forrest waiting right by the bus stop because he's on his way to. But little did he know that it was only down the street. And of course, besides that, he talks to like random strangers as he's waiting. Like first, he talks to an African American woman. Then there's other like random people he talks. And the last person seemed to be very interested in his stories. Then the guy who thought like he was just making all this stuff up. We're talking to a millionaire. Oh yeah, and also like when as a kid. When he explains how, you know, what his life was like growing up with his mother in the house, how like they had a lot of folks coming in for like strangers who were like maybe just coming in town for like a vacation sightseeing. And he guessed that was a destination to stay. Right. And one of their guests was Elvis Presley. Yes. Well, it's true they say you never know who you might meet in life that could be famous. Right. But of course, that's not how Elvis Presley got the idea of his dance routine. Of course, that's the only fiction behind it. Yeah. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think of other things that come to mind. Like we said, this is a very funny film at times. Like we said when. Oh yeah, like the football. It's funny how when they give him the football, he's running, but he doesn't learn when to stop. Run, Forrest, run, stop, Forrest. Back in high school, my senior year, there was actually a restaurant, Bubba Gump Shrimp, and it's actually a very good restaurant. I highly recommend it. Anyone who's in, if you love shrimp, you'll definitely love Bubba Gump. If you love Forrest Gump, you'll love Bubba Gump Shrimp restaurant in New York City. I got a keychain. Well, unfortunately, it broke. It was a keychain where you like spin it around where it says "Run, Forrest, run! Stop, Forrest, stop!" Have you ever been to Bubba Gump Shrimp in New York?
No, I haven't.
I highly recommend it. It's a great restaurant, very good. And of course, when I go there, I don't want a burger. I want shrimp.
Of course.
That's the idea. Well, even though they're very accommodating to other things, but don't get me wrong. I love burger, I love steak, but give me shrimp. That's what I want. That's the whole point of the experience. Give me shrimp when I go to Bubba Gump Shrimp into the Forrest Gump restaurant. Yeah. This is a film I never get tired of rewatching, no matter how many times I've seen it.
Yeah.
Did you know it was based on a book?
Well, yeah, I at first I forgot, but now I remember. Yes, right. It is based on a book.
I never read the book, but what I've been hearing about, I heard the book is like anything else. It's way different than the movie. Like compared to the book and the movie, Forrest Gump does not marry Jenny like in the film. But you know, it's again, I think it's another one of the things, whatever they did from the book and the movie, it worked out very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did. Because, but like in the book and the movie, Forrest Gump finds out that he has a son, but the only difference is Jenny was already married to somebody else, and Forrest did, like, not that Forrest didn't want to be responsible in the book, he just didn't know what it felt like if he wanted to be involved in the kid's life or have to, like, be confused, or whereas in the film he takes full responsibility. Again, that's a good change-up right there that works out very well.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And there's also a sequel to the book, which I don't know anything about. I didn't read it, but I read they almost wanted to make a sequel to this movie, but because post 9/11, they weren't sure if it wasn't going to, like, work or not, which I'm kind of, I don't want to, I think Forrest Gump is just a standalone film.
I really don't think it needs a sequel.
No. You know, it's a great ending, too, where Forrest, after when Jenny died, you know, he's living the life of a father, and, you know, he waits for his son on the first day of school, and he's thinking in his head, like, a recycle. What if he ran into, you know, the similar situation, like, you know, ran into, like, a girl named Jenny.
Right.
Yeah. That's another thing. It was a sad, emotional ending, too, about how Jenny died. Yeah. Anyway, I guess, is that everything? We've summed up everything to Forrest Gump. Remember, people, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Say bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.